and you're only left settling for unanswered questions, or worse, being told it's just because you're getting older. You don't have to settle for unanswered questions any longer. With Younger Me MD's exclusive VIP membership program, aging doesn't have to make you feel older. Their proven 3-step process and functional medicine approach helps you discover the underlying causes of your issues. As a member, you get access to high-level personalized treatment plans, as well as discounts on treatments and supplements. If you're ready to live the life you deserve, it's time to learn about Younger Me MD's VIP membership program. Call 445-266-4024. 445-266-4024. That's 445-266-4024. And schedule your consultation with Younger Me MD.
Am I going to be okay? It's the most important question you should ask yourself when approaching retirement. A financial advisor will probably answer that question by looking at just one thing: how much you've saved. At Spectrum Wealth Partners, we believe that's only half the story. The stock market will continue to go up and down, but at Spectrum Wealth, we can help you build guaranteed lifetime income that's not affected by any of it. Let's sit down together and help you answer the question, am I going to be okay? Call 856-322-8686 or online at spectrumwp.com. And tune into the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen Saturdays at 3 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Advisory services offered through Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and Spectrum Wealth Partners are not affiliated companies.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
New details as I'm coming on the air this morning. New details on the accused gang member, possible serial killer, serial predator, who is an illegal who had crossed the border. We're learning all these new details about that case. And so we'll get into all of that. Want to talk about Joe Biden's latest announcement as we knew that he would be introducing his immigration relief and family-friendly immigration policy, as the White House called it. President Biden, they assembled the crowd. They had all the people behind him. And then he admitted, though, he was announcing yet another executive order. So this is where we're going with this. I'll just remind you that he said he was celebrating the 12th anniversary of DACA, the Dreamers, so-called, and they're trying to keep families together. It all sounds good. We've been talking about it all morning. But in truth, a couple of things. Number one, well, he couldn't remember Homeland Secretary Mayorkas's name, and that was embarrassing. Okay, that's embarrassing on its face. But what is a sin, as I say, is this situation where they're now, in my humble opinion, it appears that they're just trying to add 500,000 people to the voter rolls in time for November. That's what I believe. If I'm wrong, you can call me out, but that's what I see here. Because, of course, when Biden was Obama's VP, his vice president, remember, for 2 years, they had not just the White House, the House, the Senate, if they really wanted immigration reform, and this is the big talking point, but look it up. Obama, he was coming off of a so-called recession, although when Obama got into office, did you notice nobody said the R word ever again? It just, whoosh, the recession went away. Remember that after Bush? So the truth is, though, Obama, when he got into office with Joe Biden as his VP, he could have worried about the economy. He could have worried about so many things, joblessness. He could have worried about investigating, all of the issues of thinking about the banking industry, regulation, because that's what they talk about. He could have promoted immigration relief or immigration reform. They did none of that. They had 2 years. And what did they want to push through? You remember, Oh, the marketplace, healthcare for all. You can keep your doctor. Remember all of that. So I just want you to keep that in the back of your minds as we start out. Hey, Dawn Stensland, so good to have you here, and thank you for being here on this Juneteenth. And what Juneteenth means in Philadelphia, City Hall, it's a holiday. It's a city holiday, it's a state holiday, and as you well know, it's a federal holiday. So you're not going to get your mail, your trash services, all of those services are off today, as well as everybody at City Hall. We'll get into all the protests that have been happening as TikTok, we get closer and closer to mid-July when Mayor Sherelle Parker says, hey, Philadelphia, everybody's got to come back in person. And so many of us, I did not realize, and in fact, we had debated, I had said during the pandemic, oh, they're not working in person. And people had said, no, yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're all there. No, they haven't been. And kudos to Sherelle Parker, Mayor Parker, who has called everybody out and said, and she said this back in May, gave people full notice by mid-July, everybody is back in person working. And now many individuals are pushing back on it. I know that we'll get into it. The latest on that one, because they said, oh, the union leadership doesn't want it. And they said that it's the new normal. That's what they called it. Remote working is the new normal in Philadelphia. And so they want to renegotiate everything. Several other unions came out and supported Sherelle Parker. So she's saying, no, I have union support. So she's pushing back. We'll follow that one for you. But I want to begin with what's going on with Joe Biden. And I'll get to the backdrop of the crime and the lawlessness that has been allowed in because of this border policy and where they're really going with it. So this latest tactic, this latest announcement is, in fact, Joe Biden letting in about 500,000 people. And they've said these are individuals who've been married for at least 10 years. They are married to a legal U.S. citizen. And it allows not only individuals who are here illegally, but as well their children who were not born here. And so I have so many questions about this. It might sound good on its face, but in the way that I read this, because of what Biden said, he said, later this summer. So is the game plan here to make it so that these individuals will have the right to vote by November 5th? 500,000 people. That's what I see. 500,000 new voters who are going to say, thank you, Joe Biden, and vote for him. If that's the case, if that really is what's happening here, then this is disingenuous and it is wrong and it should be fought. Okay. I will say that there are all these different individuals, even the ACLU, and we'll get into all of it. But did you see this, that even the ACLU is not happy with Biden's policy and is threatening to sue? How about that one? 855-839-1210. Immigrants' rights groups are already suing the Biden administration over their policies. And so he's getting it from both sides. But they've sued the Biden administration over his proclamation and a new rule that would restrict the asylum that he put into place. What was that, a week or two ago? Every news cycle feels like a month, doesn't it? But that was last week when those immigrants' rights groups had filed the suit and said, no, they were very unhappy. ACLU, all these different groups, they've said, no, we're not happy because Joe Biden made things a little, he was trying to mitigate now and say, no, I am tough on the border. I'm going to make it so that, we have a new anti-asylum rule. Well, now they're all suing him. So they've got that going on. And I think that's part of why President Biden, after issuing that so-called proclamation last week, along with that interim rule, and these are all executive orders. He could have done this at any point, but he's doing it about 5 months before a major federal election. Keep that in mind. So they were not happy with him last week. These were executive actions, effectively shutting off access to asylum protections for the majority of people arriving at the border. Okay? That's very different from stopping everybody and closing down the border. I just want you to keep this in mind. They shut it off at about 2,500, and then they have to process you, and now they're limiting the asylum claims. So all of these different groups suing, all that's on hold, and now this week they slipped this in here. So what I see is they have, and there are all these fact-checking sites, by the way. They say, oh, they're saying that 11 million people have come in. Look it up for yourself. And when we hear these numbers of 11 million by October, whatever the number is, keep in mind those are the numbers of individuals who've been documented. So if we have 11 million documented or 8 million, whatever, go with whatever number you want. How many have been, how many are undocumented? What's the got-away number? You see, and that's how people have arrived at that 20 million figure. That's what's going on here. I am cynical about this. I know that you know that, but I feel that this is all about, as I've said, allowing new Biden voters and new Democrat voters to flood into America and impact elections and turn cities blue. That's what this is. So I love that it's backfiring in the faces of Democrats, and in particular, Joe Biden. Because we see the crime. This Virginia election we talked about earlier this morning, right? One of the issues that the Trump-endorsed candidate, John McGuire, Navy SEAL, by the way, but he had talked about the fact that we need to make sure that we have safety and security, and calling out this issue of illegal immigration and allowing dangerous criminals into our country. And countries like Venezuela are opening up the prisons. I reported earlier, the latest number that I have is that in Venezuela, their crime rate has dropped by more than 25%. I want you to think about that. This was a high crime country, and they are hailing the fact. They think they're geniuses in these countries. They're saying, oh, what a bunch of idiots those Americans are. But yeah, go to America. We don't have to pay for you in prison. We don't have to deal with you anymore. Just here, go. We're going to let you out of prison as long as you just head out of the country. Bye-bye. And so these are some of, and these are crime-ridden countries, keep in mind. So these are some of the most violent killers, rapists. All of them are gang members. That's how they caught the latest guy. I'll get into that in a moment. I want to state a time because we have a great guest coming up. But the family, we have more family members speaking out of Rachel Morin, who I've talked about a lot. Now, she was from Maryland. I want you to think about the timeline here. She was brutally murdered. Nobody in the national media is talking about this in detail. I know it's gross, but I just want to say to you, her murder that was last August, her family, just her mom especially, but her entire family, and leaves behind 5 kids, the entire family just would not let it go, as I imagine any of us would do, to say this is a heinous, particularly violent, vile killer. And the local authorities there in Maryland, this was a beautiful area, a popular walking trail, a mom who was out jogging for the day, going for a walk, exercising, and she is grabbed by somebody we now know was a predator and is alleged to and feared by the authorities and the victim's family to be a serial predator and possible serial killer. So they got this guy's DNA not recently. The DNA they got a ping, if you will, a hit off of another case that was in another part of the country. So why then, if they had the DNA, they even had images from one of those doorbell cameras. Now they catch up with him just recently over the weekend in another city. So where was this guy? They're tracing him. They're doing DNA hits from what I'm being told by law enforcement sourcing, because now they want to know. They have the DNA. He's an accused killer on the East Coast, but they have him all over the country. Is he a serial killer? And why aren't we hearing more about this? And why aren't we seeing his image everywhere? Why is it that all of these computers across the country and all of these crime, all of these police departments, law enforcement should be given the heads up, run this DNA? Why aren't they doing that? Why isn't this a national story? 855-839-1210. I have a great guest, an incredible guest, Commonwealth Foundation. You want to stay right there. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Our next Talk Radio 1210 WPHT Politics and Pints. I'll be hosting #1 international best-selling author, Navy SEAL Jack Carr. That's right, June 25th. Tuesday night, June 25th at the Zlock Performing Arts Center, Bucks County Community College in Newtown, PA. Tickets are on sale now, and they will sell out. Go to 1210WPHT.com and get your tickets. And I want to see you there. And if not, remember, I got a guy, and he's a Navy SEAL. See you then. Get slimmer for this summer without any shots. NJ Diet is nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. You will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. NJ Diet uses your hair and saliva along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. You are fully monitored the entire time, and you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations close by in Cherry Hill, King of Prussia, Princeton, and Newark, Delaware. Or NJ Diet is available from home with live online video consultations. Lose the weight the natural way, quickly and safely. Call 855-5NJ-DIET. Or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. Get slimmer for the summer and without any shots. That's njdiet.com to lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. Go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000.
This is Len Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you are never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you're injured in an accident, we will work quickly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say it won't cost you a dime up front, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano inviting you to join me in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar this Friday, June 21st, to celebrate Dom Giordano Day in Wildwood. We have an action-packed day planned, national guest of honor Scott Presler joining us, lots of local guests, and of course, entertainment by Burning Sky, the ultimate Bad Company tribute band. It'll be a great day in Wildwood. Blow off work Friday. Join me at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood starting at noon. Mulligan's at 310 West Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood. Details at 1210WPHT.com.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Hey, this is Matt Spiegel, and on my podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, we learn how the best broadcasters in the game, like the Reds' John Sadak, try to capture the greatness of the best players, like Ellie De La Cruz.
He's a video game character. I mean, he is so athletic, and I think each moment is its own living entity, and I try to just match whatever that moment is.
The PBP, Voices of Baseball. We bring you the people who bring you the game. Find us on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Yo, Roy is Ford. We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT.
Dawn Stensland here, live and local. We have a great guest to talk about all things Pennsylvania for sure as we think about what's happening here. I'm joined this morning by President and CEO of the Commonwealth Foundation, Charles Mitchell. Charles, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Great to be with you as always, Dawn. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So take me through your latest piece talking about Josh Shapiro. And he has teenage kids and college age kids. I know he's trying to be cool on the internet, releasing a lot of new videos. But in this one, you're calling him out for his claim of being moderate.
Yeah, well, it's very simple. He says it a lot. He needs to do it. As you know, Dawn, I run an organization that's about public policy. We're about actually getting things done for the people of Pennsylvania. Governor Shapiro made some wonderful campaign promises. You know what happens with campaign promises. Politicians are quick to make them and slow to keep them. And one of the most important promises he made was to deliver $10,000 scholarships for many of the people whose children can hear my voice right now. It would benefit no area more than your listening area, which is why I'm so happy to talk with you about it. Governor Shapiro needs to get that done. He failed to get it done last year. There's a whole story behind that. You and I talked about it at the time, and the reason I wrote that piece that you're referring to is to encourage him to do it. It isn't enough to just get the headlines and say these moderate things, which, by the way, got him elected. The people of Pennsylvania sent him to Harrisburg to actually do the job.
Amen. And as we think about, right now, TikTok, we're heading toward they're negotiating within the budget. Obviously, by June 30th, July 1st, we start the new fiscal year, and so they're up against the deadline. We're seeing a bit of a repeat. It's a little deja vu here. Do you think that we'll see? Anything play out differently from the last time that he did that line item veto, especially in the shadow of November 5th?
Well, I think there's a few things we're in the shadow of. November 5th is one of them. Another one is a rapper. Jay-Z came out in favor of the Lifeline scholarships that Governor Shapiro promised to do and didn't get done last year. And there's Senator Tony Williams, who many of his constituents are in your listening area, Southwest Philadelphia, Delaware County, and my homeland. There are bipartisan and transpartisan voices who have joined the chorus for this since last year. So I think we're in the shadow of all of those things. And yes, of course, I hope Governor Shapiro keeps his promise. I think the people who have the most to say about that, frankly, is not me, although I'm happy you asked me, but actually your listeners. And I would encourage anybody who can hear my voice right now, go to lifelinescholarships.com. You can send a message to your state lawmakers asking them to get this done. And I'll tell you one alarming fact on, I'm in Harrisburg right now. Our state legislature isn't. In my business, if I had a deadline on June 30th, I'd be working right now. Mm-hmm. They're not. They're not working with Governor Shapiro to get this done. I think people need to have a sense of urgency, and so therefore I would really encourage your listeners, go on that website, lifelinescholarships.com, send a message to your lawmakers and to Governor Shapiro saying, get this done now.
Now, do you mean that they're not working because it's Juneteenth, because it's a federal and state holiday?
No. The whole week. They're out of session all week. It's very odd to me.
Yeah, that's...
now, they're back next week, but June 30th is a week from Sunday. I mean, you can read a calendar just as well as I can. They need to work. And that's part of what I said in my article, and I don't like saying it, but it happens to be true, is there's a track record here, whether it's on the education issue, whether it's energy, there's other issues we can talk about, the encampment at Penn. Governor Shapiro has a record of saying things that sound good, and particularly sound good to his future political ambitions, which I think have a lot to do with where he thinks the votes are. And I think he's right about this, by the way. In the Democratic Party, nationally, they're in the middle. That's why we have Joe Biden today. What he's doing is saying a lot to make those people feel good, but not actually doing the work. And we need the work to be done.
Well, you start out in I think your latest op-ed that you talk about the fact that our governor is a moderate president in the making, that he does. There's no question. I've known, we've talked about this. I've known Josh Shapiro since his days in Abington with a great mentor who we share, Lou Klein, the great late Lou Klein, who, of course, the Temple Communication School is named after. And Lou Klein used to say that. This was 20 plus years ago. He's going to be president someday. So I have no doubt that Josh Shapiro absolutely has his eye on the White House. But I would ask you after, you mentioned Jay-Z, also Meek Mill, others coming out. We know behind the scenes, Charles, that the truth is these Lifeline scholarships absolutely could get the vote and the bipartisan support. They have the support, but this is all about November 5th. It's also, to your point, about running for president and having the teachers union leadership. But does Jay-Z, does Meek Mill, does that, the reports that the GOP and Trump may have the greatest support of the African-American community because of issues like this, does that alter where we're going here prior to June 30th?
Listen, politicians are politicians, and I might get myself in trouble with some of your listeners by saying this, but, Governor Shapiro, if you're listening, I'm going to give you some free political advice. Everybody in Abington, everybody who's known you, says the same thing. They say what Dawn just said, okay? You wanted to be president since you were knee-high. Got it. Fine. I am neutral on that question. I run a policy organization. But if you want to be president and you can read the polls just as well as I can, do school choice and do it now. Yeah. Deliver $300 million in scholarships, particularly for people in West Philly and North Philly and Pittsburgh and Wilkes-Barre and Erie, because, not only are the votes, generally speaking, in the Democratic Party in the primary, which, of course, is the first race you need to win, they're in the middle, and 70 to 80% of Democrats, depending on which poll you want to read, support this. But certainly, yes, to your point, when you look at November 5th, where you look at where President Biden is doing poorly, his numbers in the black community are just mind-boggling compared to any other Democrat ever. And, that's not my job. My job is to deliver scholarships for children. But again, Governor Shapiro, you want to be president? Well, then you got to reverse that slide that your party has encountered in those communities. And this is what they want. Now, as you know, Dawn, there is another issue in my article that is also relevant to this, which is energy. I mean, the people, especially people with less means, people in urban communities, whatever, they're getting hammered with inflation. They're getting hammered with food costs, and they're getting hammered with energy costs. And we're talking during a week right now where it's almost 100 degrees. The air conditioning in my office isn't working very well. So people are going to have huge bills this month for their air conditioning, right? And these energy mandates that Governor Shapiro is pursuing after saying during the campaign that he wasn't going to do it, they're going to hammer people who have the least ability to pay. And to your point earlier, what do these two issues have in common? He's caught between the electorate, whether you want to talk about the Democratic primary electorate, the black vote, whatever, just the electorate in general, and the moneyed interests in the Democratic Party. And it's hilarious to me because, I'm fighting so hard for these scholarships, and there are all these accusations that people make, and, they say I work for rich people. You know what? Yeah, what I do. I work for some really generous people who give money away so that kids can have hope in West Philly and North Philly. Yeah. Okay? But you know who really is captive to moneyed interest? Any Democrat politician, and we have a lot of them in Pennsylvania, who doesn't vote for these scholarships because they're working for Rainey Weingarten and for the heads of the teachers unions in Washington, D.C. That's the moneyed interest, actually, that's dominating our politics. And that's I think, what you're saying is the question is, are you with the voters? Are you with the kids who are hurting? Are you with the people whose air conditioners are cranking this week? Or are you in thrall to a really, 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 really small minority of really, really, really rich people, mostly in Washington, D.C., not even in Pennsylvania, who control much of the Democratic Party? That's the choice that Governor Shapiro has to make. And I get it. It's a hard choice, but it's very clear where the voters are, and I hope he sides with the voters.
Yeah, me too. Charles, you talked about energy, so I wanted to get into this, and not just for Pennsylvania, the jobs here, that's an issue with the unions, but just looking at, I'm a PECO customer. I live in Philadelphia, as you know, longtime Philadelphia resident. Electricity prices, and this is the average energy prices, Philadelphia, Camden, Wilmington, This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is a government website. Anybody can look this up. Electricity prices here in Philadelphia, where I'm broadcasting from, 17% higher than anybody else in the entire nation. And then you look at the gas prices, the high gas prices, and you do the math. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Amid a heat wave, as it feels like it's 100 today, and that's really not letting up for the next week. So this is something that I think every person, especially in Philadelphia, when you look at these high rates going on, it's outrageous.
It is. And what's worse, it's bad right now, but Governor Shapiro is in court trying to make it worse after saying he would do the opposite. He campaigned, especially when he was in front of trade unions who, like you said, benefit from the jobs in energy production and pipelines and all the rest of it. And he badmouthed essentially a version of the Green New Deal that Governor Wolf, his predecessor, tried to put Pennsylvania into, and our legislature did the right thing and fought him and actually took him to court over it. And Governor Shapiro essentially said a lot of the right things during the campaign about how this plan, which if you or your listeners ever hear it, it's RGGI, and they call it in government land Reggie. Sounds like, your friend, somebody you can talk to. No, Reggie is not your friend. Okay? Reggie means all those costs this is what it means in plain English, all those costs that you just talked about that people are already getting whacked by on their PICO bills or whatever, add 30%. That's what this would do. He is in court right now fighting to uphold that. The legislature won in court, and Governor Shapiro quietly on a Friday afternoon, anything a politician does on a Friday afternoon, you're not going to like. He appealed the ruling, and he had some garbled up mumbo-jumbo as to why he did it. And why am I saying that? Because that's the point, it is bad.
Yeah.
Energy costs are bad. Electricity costs are bad. He said he was going to make it better, just like he said he was going to make education better. As of now, his actual record is making it worse, and he needs to stop.
I'll tell you this, within the last year, I had relatives who live in Montgomery County who told me that the public schools are cutting funding for special needs students, that was the plan, and schools were hearing about it, etc. And I mentioned it in passing on the air, and then I was beat up on social media for saying, how could you say that? That's a lie. And quite frankly, in the Commonwealth Foundation, and you, Rachel Langan on the Delaware Valley Journal, that's where it was originally published, that you have published on your site, commonwealthfoundation.org, a headline that says just that. Democrats want to cut funding for Pennsylvania special needs students. I just wanted to touch on that because this is something where, we will hear something or get the news from sources, or even for me, from family members. I'll say it or put it out on social media, Charles, and boom, they'll just try to shut me down and say, that's fake news. Shame on you for putting that out there. And I just want to focus on that for a moment, thinking about the fact that even when we try to educate people on, hey, this is a proposal, this is really happening, what happens is it's called fake news. The information is shut down so that voters, in truth, they can't even make a well-educated decision sometimes because the media, because of bias, and omission, bias by omission, as I call it, doesn't report it. It's a huge problem that I have seen for years.
Yeah, it is a huge problem, and I wish I could just eliminate it. Yeah. What I'm trying to do at least, is do what I can about it. And here's what I think I can offer to you and your listeners is this. The one thing that's unique about Commonwealth Foundation compared to any other institution, including the media and everybody else, is everything that we say and do is based on facts and numbers, and you can see them yourself. So if there's any of your listeners who aren't familiar with our work, like you said, our website's commonwealthfoundation.org. And my colleagues, they don't always get to do fun stuff like go on radio with you, but what they do is they take the actual numbers, the only honest numbers about how your government is spending your money, not their money, your money, and then analyze it and tell the truth. And there's always a link on there to the actual charts, the actual numbers, and you can review them for yourself. That's one of my annoyances about the media is, and I say the media, I don't mean you, obviously, the rest of them. Some of these publications that shade the truth is they don't show their work. They make it very hard to verify whether what they're saying is true, whether it's a vote, whether it's numbers. Well, we have the opposite philosophy at Commonwealth Foundation because we think any of these discussions need to be based on truth, and there's never more lies out there, if you ask me, than in the education discussion, and that's why we've made such an investment, thanks to our generous donors, to put this information out there. And specifically what you're asking about, or what you mentioned earlier with my colleague Rachel, who lives in Westchester and did a great article for the Delaware Valley Journal, is that despite all the talk from Democrats about how they fight for the poor, and when President Biden went to Girard College recently, he was talking about how we're the champions for the black community. Well, guess what? The bill that the Delaware Valley Journal reported on, which Governor Shapiro included in his budget address, and which the Democrat-controlled House of Representatives passed on party lines, would gut funding for the very schools that disproportionately educate children with special needs, children who are bullied, and children of color. Those are just statistics, and those are called cyber charter schools. And increasingly, there are churches in Pennsylvania that are partnering up with schools like that to educate the most vulnerable children, whether it's children in urban areas, whether it's children who get bullied and can't go to school because they're afraid. Those are the ones that are getting threatened with having their money taken away. It's shameful. And oh, by the way, getting back to what you said earlier about November 5th, you wonder why the more things like that happen, there are some changes in the way that those communities are saying that they're going to vote. Again, I'm not a politician. I don't have an axe to grind here. I'm just telling you facts. If there's a group of people who say when they go to Girard College, we're for you, we're championing you, and then when it comes time to give you a $10,000 scholarship, they're nowhere to be found, and then when it comes time for funding to be approved for the school or the church or whatever that is actually saving your kids, and they say, I think we should cut it, no wonder voters are getting upset. I don't blame them.
Yeah, because I think thanks to your point, because of people like Meek Mill and Jay-Z, who, by the way, they've donated their own money to help with private, scholarships because they realize the importance of it. But I do think that people are starting to get around thanks to these people, I guess unlikely sources or common sense sources that they're starting to learn about it and say, what? This is a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you do it?
Well, Dawn, it cracks me up. I just love watching these attacks on Jay-Z and Meek Mill. People are saying, they're rich and let me explain how this works, okay? Those guys, and listen, it won't shock you to know, I am a boring dad of 4, okay? I do not listen to Jay-Z, okay? I don't listen to rap. I listen to bluegrass, okay? But I know this. The reason he's rich is because people voluntarily parted with their money because they liked his art, okay? That's America, okay? Yes. And he got all that money, which he earned because people loved what he did, and he gave it away. And we're supposed to hate him, but we're supposed to like Randy Weingarten, the teacher union boss, who is also rich. But she's rich because she took money out of teachers' paychecks, whether they wanted to or not, and has been taken to court in probably every state in America by teachers who don't want to give her the money. And she doesn't give the money away to scholarships. We're supposed to listen to her and be mad at Meek Mill and Jay-Z because they're rich? That is such a fallacious argument. I think it just shows you, and look, whether it happens by November 5th or by June 30th or whatever, I can't tell you, but I think I can tell you. The complexion of our country and the complexion of these issues and people's awareness of what's really going on is changing. And it's a good thing.
We'll end it there. Thank you so much. You're exactly right. President and CEO of the Commonwealth Foundation, Charles Mitchell. Thank you so much. And until next time, thanks, Charles.
Thanks so much, Dawn. See ya.
See ya. Keep cool in the heat for sure. So your thoughts on this, 855-839-1210, the number to call. I do think in so many ways, when I look at what's happening, and I'll take a break in 2 seconds, they're yelling at me. Break. All right. Your thoughts, 855-839-1210. But when we look at what's happening and we see the people who are seeing the truth and see through the partisan politics, I think, thank God. Thank God for that. And this is not you and me, because we pay more attention to this, right? We read everything that we can find and try to read up on this and question everything and look beyond the headlines. But for the average American, you'd be shocked at how many people, they're not paying attention to this. The fact that they are now paying attention, the fact that people are getting the word, this is why we have to get the word out. 855-839-1210. And why I always say we have to have the conversation. Thank you for being here. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You know that I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games. And the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open up the app, dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And during the summer, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. Head over to FanDuel.com/Dom and make the most out of your summer. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT, FanDuel official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. You have to be 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eileen Canestrassi, CEO of Insight PA Cyber Charter School. If you, like many families, are exploring other options for your child's education, consider switching to Insight PA Cyber Charter School. We are an online public school serving students across Pennsylvania and providing individualized, life-ready learning experiences for students from kindergarten through 12th grade.
To learn how Insight PA Cyber Charter can set your child up for the future, visit insightpaschool.org.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
Open heart surgery, tear in my aorta.
The most complex cases come to us at Virtua Health.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been here without you.
Being a 45-year-old, not being able to walk up one flight of stairs, I had no idea I was in heart failure.
Virtua is a premier heart failure center in South Jersey.
They changed my life. It's truly a blessing.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriati and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriati, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, Cherry Hill. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker, play 1210 WPHT.
Immigration executive order in the news with Biden touting his latest immigration reform. Not really. What's Trump talking about? We'll have some audio for you on DJT. Donald J. Trump is going to be here in Philadelphia, by the way, Saturday. Do you have your ticket? I have mine. I'll be there. I'll see you there. But Trump putting out there 2 days ago, a Biden illegal was arrested in New York for violently raping a 13-year-old girl at knife point in broad daylight. And it was actually a machete. We'll have much more on the story, and actually you'll hear from the actual man, the vigilante, who helped hold this suspect down for police. So vigilantes coming to the rescue, if you will, but this 13-year-old little girl, oh my goodness, and it's another horrifying list of crimes that we're hearing about. I want to get your thoughts on all of this. 855-839-1210. Hey, Joe. Good morning. Joe calling in. Hey, Joe.
Good morning once again, Dawn.
Thanks, Joe.
I'm not saying my dad was a fantastic political strategist, but he was heavily involved in politics throughout central Jersey. But he said this 3.5 going on 4 years ago. This is nothing but a vote grab. You know, my dad had good discernment, but what this administration is basically telling us, and people have to understand this, they are not going to rely on our constitutional knowledge or fabric. They are going to recruit people into this country to vote for them that have no knowledge of how we are supposed to be constitutionally in this republic.
Amen, Joe. I always appreciate your wisdom and your insights. And Joe is a regular. Jimmy and Henry right now, you got to get Joe on. So we thank you, Joe. You know, we had Joe the plumber years ago to tell us like it is, and we thank Joe from Jersey, Jersey Joe, who always gives us great perspective. You know, one of the pieces of this that I want to quote, and this is the GOP actually putting this out there, talking about the fact that Joe Biden has released more than 11 million illegals into our country, including many from the world's most violent, anti-American countries. Many of these individuals are gang members, and we've learned that. And so these are countless stories. And I'm reading from the, if you follow them at GOP, this is one of their quotes as they say, these are countless stories of Biden illegals victimizing American citizens, the people crooked Joe Biden is supposed to protect. And by the way, this says nothing of those 8 ISIS-linked suspected terrorists from Tajikistan that the Biden administration supposedly vetted and then released back into our country. And remember, some of them from right here in Philadelphia, mostly on the East Coast, mostly in New York. But by the way, where's that story? Where's word of that story? Have you noticed the stories that just, fall by the wayside and only we are talking about them? It's important to remember these stories and continue to follow up, which I will, right around the corner, 855-839-1210, if you want to sound in for sure. You know, summer upon us, no time like the present to get back out there on the roads. We're planning our road trip, and my family, my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles are always going to help you out finding that luxury vehicle you've been eyeing. Piazza with thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles from some of the most beautiful, powerful brands on the roadways that I dream of. Mercedes-Benz. I'm not quite there yet. We're still in the Honda Odyssey Piazza minivan, okay? So maybe you've graduated. I haven't graduated yet because I still got the kids in the minivan. But we're thinking about, Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo. Beautiful vehicles. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. You can stop by one of their many Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey dealers. PIAZZA, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Join Team Kale & Company once again this year for the Bend to Shore Bike Tour on Sunday, July 21st. From Philly to Atlantic City, you can do the ride or just donate to support the cause. Visit bendtoshore.org. That's shore.org. Let's show everyone how WPHT and Odyssey supports law enforcement. Bend to Shore is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. SBBCF provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders and supports the Police Youth Alliance, which fosters a positive relationship between police and youth. Sponsored by Gelman Law. Need a criminal defense attorney or personal injury? Visit GelmanLawFirm.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If you have a fear of the dentist, you're not alone. My friend and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, is known for helping you overcome your fear and anxiety. Patients have come to Dr. Bentz from all over Pennsylvania, South Jersey, some even farther, from New York, Florida, even Washington State. One of our listeners have been putting off much-needed dental work, get this, for 8 years due to fear and anxiety. After hearing me talk about how great Dr. Bentz was with fearful patients, she reached out, made an appointment, traveling from Ocean City, New Jersey to East Norriton just for Dr. Bentz. She still comes back for routine care. That's how good Dr. Bentz and his entire staff are. They go out of their way to help your fear and anxiety. Now's the time to call Dr. Robert Bentz, the Bentz Dental Group. See the Bentz difference. Make that appointment today. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com or call 610-272-6949, 610-272-6949.
Attention hot tub enthusiasts, soak in the relaxation at Spring Dance Hot Tubs. For a limited time only, get 0% financing for 60 months on the Philly Special $735 hot tub for as little as $100 a month. And indulge in our Hot Spring Grandie models starting at just $250 a month. Plus, get free Freshwater IQ Smart Monitoring System and Salt System. Visit us for $500 off all smart top covers and 20% off all Spa Frog products. Hurry, offers end June 28th. Visit Spring Dance Hot Tubs today. Subject to credit approval. See store for details.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-353-9057, 800-353-9057, or biglou.com.
A tasty new game is coming your way. Test your skills in Kirby's Quick Run at TastyCake.com. Help Kirby the Crimpet collect all of the Tasty Cake treats. Play now to enter our sweepstakes for a chance to win exclusive prizes. Increase your chances of winning by playing every day. And don't forget to celebrate National Crimpet Day on July 7th by snagging some limited edition confetti crimpets in stores now. Tasty Cake, accept no substitutes.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Free speech lives here, on the air, and on the Odyssey app. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Paying tribute to the late, great Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid. Home run slugger, center field star, 23-year Major League Baseball career, and reports from his family confirmed that he is gone to heaven at the age of 93 years young. Paying tribute to Willie Mays. I heard Bryce Harper actually talking about meeting him, what an inspiration that was. As our Phils play 105 today, it's going to be a hot one. So if you're headed to the game, get ready. Because it's going to feel like it's 100 plus degrees today. As our Phils, man, coming home, they're fired up, they're on a streak. But it's hot out there, so keep cool. You know, I think about the latest lawsuit against the Biden administration, these rules that make dishwashers, laundry machines worse. I can't even imagine them getting any worse. Have you seen this? The federal regulations, they want to slow down these daily conveniences that we're blessed with. But these are consumers from Texas and Louisiana. Thank you. As there's a new lawsuit filed against the U.S. Department of Energy. So this is Biden's Department, DOE, and Department of Energy, and they're trying to regulate this even further. I don't know. My dishwasher, first of all, it's not more energy efficient if the thing is running for 3 hours, whether it's a dishwasher, your clothes washer, and then on top of it, sometimes you have to run it twice because it's just not working as well. It's so annoying to me. It's a huge issue. Trump, I loved it when he talked about it. I want a Trump wash machine and a Trump dishwasher. Yes, I will put a big T on it. I'm not even kidding you. My poor husband, Larry Menti, has to hear me rant about the wash machine. The other day, he goes, I don't have any clean underwear. I said, yeah, because it's in the Biden wash machine. So one more reason. He's like, oh, my goodness, she's getting political with the wash. But I'm not even kidding you. It's I don't know how they could make it worse. Do you? And I had somebody one time who called in, he said, Dawn, called 855-839-1210. So, well, Dawn, it does seem like it runs longer, but that's because it's using less energy. No, it doesn't make sense to me if it's having to run where it used to run half an hour, and now the thing, it still has to utilize energy to stay on for sometimes 3 hours. But then if you're running it twice, forget about it. You see what I'm saying? So I just think some of this stuff, you don't have to be an electrician or an engineer to know that I think we're sucking up more energy. Then I go around the house just unplugging everything and making everybody crazy. I don't know if you do this. And then the teenagers in the shower, don't even get me started. It's crazy. And then we argue over the thermostat because it's hot outside. I don't mind it 85 in the house. But even the dog is panting. Like, go in the basement.
85 in the house?
What? It's 85 is not horrible.
Oh, that sounds terrible. I need at least mid-70s.
But right now, that means the HVAC is it's whining outside. It's working so hard.
Yeah, I understand. It's just,
Okay, 82.
We're getting there.
82?
I'll settle at like high 70s.
My Pico bill this time around, and they send you, and by the way, I signed up, because Pico, you can sign up, well, do you want peak time? You can get a lower cost if you basically promise not to use too much energy during the peak time.
Interesting.
Did you know that?
I did not.
I signed up for it. It might be a big mistake.
How do they even check that? Just,
everything's they redid everything.
Oh.
And so the one day David's in the shower, he's taking they're going to kill me for talking about this. He's in the shower for, I'm not even kidding, like 52 minutes because I'm timing it. And so I'm like, David, Pico is sending me alerts. I'm getting like real-time alerts. Your energy usage this morning is up, 102%. So now this is where we're going. That it's now, instead of them just creating more stuff that's energy efficient, no, they want to control us, which they basically are controlling me. It's crazy with this. When in fact there's a real pathway to making energy efficient items, Go back to the 28-minute wash machine, or remember this, the 25-minute dishwasher. And yes, I take off the heat dry. I take all that off. I'm trying to be good because they're monitoring all of our usage. It's really government control at the end of the day. It's crazy. 855-839-1210. We'll look at all of this and more just ahead.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide. Because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
My name is Andy Donaldson. I've been with Crash Proof Retirement since the beginning of 2014. The main reason Crash Proof is so phenomenal is there's no way that the original investment you put in is going to be any less than you started. In addition, you do get significant returns. A number of the different investment strategies that I've been involved with have given me 10 to 15% returns annually. With the Crash Proof Retirement System this year, I made almost 11.5%. It's quite a nice feeling to know that at the end of your year, whatever you've gained, the 10 or 15%, now becomes your new principal amount and you never lose it.
Learn how double-digit interest returns can be permanently compounded to your principal with no risk of loss in a legally binding, recorded financial meeting. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Downingtown Country Club, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June is Men's Health Month with Rescue Natural Supplements. Life is busy. It can be hard to focus on your health. Thankfully, Rescue Men's Health Supplements have the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that provide men with what they need. Rescue supplements can help boost testosterone, promote a healthy prostate, as well as support energy and vitality for an active life. And for the month of June, when you buy one of their Men's Health single bottles, you'll receive a second totally free. Just use the code STRENGTH for the buy one, get one offer. To order, call a Rescue Product Consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate, and more. Again, use that code STRENGTH for the buy one, get one free offer on Rescue Men's Health products. Shop res-q.com and do it today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
We're talking about immigration and the impact of illegals coming here to Philadelphia, coming to America, wreaking havoc. We now know that the suspect in the case of a 13-year-old girl in broad daylight at a park with a 13-year-old boy, a classmate, the two of them, I don't know if you're fully up to date, there's a court appearance for this accused rapist, gang member. It's a sick story, this 13-year-old little girl. So the guy, according to police, he is a predator, grabs both of these 13-year-olds, ties them up, and rapes this 13-year-old girl. And we have the hero in all of this. So we have a lot going on with this. We have Trump talking about it in Racine, Wisconsin yesterday. You'll hear that in a moment. We have the hero of New York City right now talking about this. He is the vigilante, if you will. He's the guy who grabbed the suspect and held him for police to arrest. This guy's been positively ID'd, and we're learning more about the child sex assault in the park in Queens, in New York, in a neighborhood here. So first of all, Henry, thank you for finding the hero, speaking out. He's being interviewed, so let's listen in.
Take him out, and I told everybody, yo, this is the rapist, I punched him, I kicked him, a little bit about. And yeah, that's it. What did you say to him? Nothing, I ain't saying nothing to him. I'm only surprised when I see new people that I really don't know, you feel me? Like, I recognize he's from around him, hold up, this such. But I already knew it was him since he was coming down this block. I already knew it was him.
Did he say anything to you?
Nope.
Nothing at all?
He didn't see it coming.
He didn't deny it?
He didn't deny. He was like, oh, he started yelling, help, help, help in Spanish. I'm like, yeah, that's what the little girl was saying. And he didn't deny it. I said, they already got your ass. He said, yeah, I know. And he just surrendered and gave up.
Wow. Yeah. So describe that takedown. I mean, that's...
it's not even that I'm big. It's just, you feel me? I got two little sisters, and I'm about to have a daughter, so it's like, for me, then I said, man, either way, if I didn't have two little sisters, I was about to have a daughter. It's still not ready.
So this is one of the Good Samaritans who was able to recognize, because they had the description, they had images, everybody's looking everywhere for this guy, who's identified as a 25-year-old Ecuadorian migrant, illegal immigrant, newcomer, as Joe. He's saying, we have different people who've helped with this. But in this case, this gentleman, he recognizes the man that police had named as the prime suspect in the broad daylight attack of this girl. And they were held, and we're getting more information even this morning from police. But this guy had a machete-style blade and tied them up, then assaulted the girl and ravaged this 13-year-old girl, this devastating situation. But these vigilantes, these heroes, these good guys, they all helped hold him down, calling 911, police getting there, and police saying thank you, thanking them. But as you hear this gentleman speaking out, what you understand is that there's not, the issue here is not an immigrant issue. This is not in any way, nobody can call this a racial issue or anything of that nature, because it points out, and this is poignant when you hear him speaking and when you see him, because he is what he is saying is, these are the wolves in sheep's cloth hiding in our community, meaning legal immigrants who are here, and they've come here legally. They have their pathway to citizenship. They've done things right, but they don't want these illegal people being let out from prisons. They're gang members. They're violent individuals. They're coming from other countries, and they're coming to this country. That's exactly why people legally left their country and either sought asylum or sought citizenship, etc. That's why people are escaping some bad countries, right? And they're coming here legally. Those are the very people who are now voting for Trump, because these criminals, some of the most heinous criminals, are coming here into their community. Who let them in? Joe Biden did. It's very clear. It's very simple. So one of the men is identified as Christian Landy. I know we have a couple of these Good Samaritans, but we want to hear from DJT, Trump speaking in Wisconsin. This is Racine, Wisconsin. My mom's born in Wisconsin. And so Trump was there yesterday in Racine. He's speaking. It's not Racine, Wisconsin, by the way. It's Racine. But Trump is speaking there, and he's talking, in fact, about a different case, yet another case, and that one involves the mom who was attacked by a predator, assaulted last summer, mom of 5, and they did a DNA match. I've talked about the case of Rachel Morin. So let's listen in as DJT Trump is stumping in Wisconsin and talking about this situation.
Just last week, another Biden migrant was arrested for the savage murder of an innocent American woman. You probably all read about it. In Maryland, Rachel Morin, 37 years old, mother of 5, beautiful woman, nice woman. Everyone believed that this animal was responsible for Rachel's killing, first murdered another young woman in El Salvador, came from El Salvador, murdered a woman, at least one, then fled across this Joe Biden open border. Just come on in, everybody. We won't even check your name. And came into the United States, after which he savagely attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles in an area that was supposed to be safe. And finally, he's charged with raping and murdering Rachel when she was out for a run. She was running, wanted to keep herself in shape before dumping her body into a drainage ditch. That's how they found her, into a drainage ditch. This monster should never have been allowed into our country, and if I was president, he would never have been able to come in. He would have never been able to come in. You see those numbers.
And so you hear the crowd there, great crowd. Are you going to be at the Leah Chorus Center this Saturday? I know it's going to be hot. I will be there. I got my ticket. So I want you to be there. I want to see you. We've got more information from police across the country in the case that Trump was just referring to. And this is about the Maryland mom that she was out jogging last August, more than 10 months after Rachel Morin was found raped and killed in that popular jogging trail. The DNA evidence led police to this arrest of a man in Oklahoma accused of the crime. So we have law enforcement speaking out in Maryland, speaking out from Oklahoma, and they called it a nationwide manhunt. But what we didn't know was that this man, Victor Hernandez, who's 23 years old, who came into the country, I believe, a little over a year ago, he's charged now officially with first-degree murder, first-degree rape of this mom that Trump talked about, Rachel Morin. And the Harford County Sheriff, Jeff Gaylor, he left. He was not mincing words when he talked about this. And he as well called this guy a monster. The issue here by the family, not only the sheriff, but the family of Rachel that Trump just talked about, the issue here is that there is a belief in the law enforcement community that this guy is a serial predator and potentially serial rapist, as well as could he be a serial killer? Because we're now learning from officials in his home country that one of the reasons he fled his home country was that he was suspected of doing this to a woman in South America, and flees, comes to, hears about Joe Biden's open border and comes here. And so this is why 5 children in America are not growing up with their mommy. Okay. The other piece of this as well that's important to understand is the brutality of this murder. Her family members have been speaking out. Her sister, her mom. We played for you yesterday the father of her 18-year-old daughter. But the violent nature of this crime, they said that this guy just beat her body, beat her head to the point that it was smashed in. Couldn't even have a proper funeral type thing. It was a horrible, bloody murder scene. Okay, so this is particularly violent. And so now as they look across the country, will they find other DNA matches? That's the question here. We know that she was reported, and just to give you a sense of this, and I have some questions about it, and I know you do too. But the timeline here is that she was reported missing by her family. That was last August 5th. Here we are. This is June 19th of 2024. So we're looking at last August, last summer. She was reported missing. The next day, the deputies find her body near this trail and say she was the victim of a violent murder and rape. And now they do the autopsy results. This is an unsolved murder. Now, August 17th, last August 17th, those local authorities announced there's a DNA connection. So now they have a DNA match, okay, in California. So think about this, Maryland to California, all the way on the west. Where's this guy getting his money? How is he? Now he's in California, and now they have a DNA match because a 9-year-old little girl was assaulted. She assaulted the 9-year-old girl and her mommy. This happened in Southern California during a home invasion. But when did that home invasion? So the DNA match is August 17th, okay, about 2 weeks after the assault of Rachel. But when did the home invasion happen? Back in March 26th. So I want you to understand that they had a home invasion so the guy assaults a 9-year-old little girl and her mom in March on the West Coast. Now he's over the following summer. He's on the East Coast in Maryland and allegedly, is the brutal murderer, and assaults Rachel Morin. So now they have the match. They also, I want to point out to you from the Southern California case of the 9-year-old and her mom, they actually had some video footage. They had a video update that they find out about it. So now you have those investigators in Harford County, that's the sheriff's office that's been looking into this on the East Coast, working with the law enforcement on the West Coast. So they had a description of this guy. They had a video that they had some video evidence. Wasn't until June 14th, just last week, that Tulsa police arrest this guy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They arrest him on suspicion of trespassing outside a business. And so we know that law enforcement did have a sense that they knew there was a serial predator because they had that video from the March incident. I just want you to think about this. You've got Tulsa, Oklahoma, Maryland, Southern California. Man, this guy is making the rounds across the country. And you're telling me that there are not other violent crimes? That this guy is accused of a violent attack on the West Coast, in his country of origin, on the East Coast in Maryland? We'll see. Because we want to keep track of this. Because now they're saying this guy, he's a serial rapist. He's a serial killer. He's a serial predator. That's what I'm hearing from the law enforcement community. And I hope to God nobody covers this up. But I want to see more, and we want to see the DNA matches, and we want to look at the cold cases from the time this guy came into this country. Oh, my goodness. 855-839-1210. So what happens now to this man, Victor Hernandez? We'll talk about it and more right here on The Dawn Show. Thank you for being here. 855-839-1210, the number to call.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
I'm petrified of heights. I don't like to be spun in circles. I can't do like the tilt-a-whirl. Makes my stomach queasy.
Associate producer here, Jim Kelly, just came up with a great idea. For $2,000, would you be willing to get on one of those rides that you're so terrified of? All the money goes to the families behind the Badge Children's Foundation.
So the Jersey Devil Coaster, 58 miles an hour, 130-foot drop.
I want to see Philadelphia seeks new morning show host who tragically perished on boardwalk.
Do it right now. GregStockerStocks.com. All the money goes to the families behind the Badge Children's Foundation.
Yeah.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Living with Lyme, a condition that you may have and not even know it. John DeMasi here, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Yes, you may be living with Lyme, even if you've had some kind of treatment. Dr. Molly Fantasia and the healthcare team at Innovative Medical Associates have dealt with this condition and have helped hundreds over the years live successfully with Lyme, mainly through the use of medical hydration. They've been able to reduce many of the symptoms associated with Lyme and allow their patients a better quality of life.
I want to get you through your initial challenge, working alongside with my physicians, and then get you to a place where we are looking at maintaining your immune system, maintaining your quality of life.
If you suspect you or someone you know has Lyme disease, visit innovativemedicalassociates.com on the web to schedule a free initial consultation or call 856-489-0505.
Hey, this is Ray Didinger. I had the opportunity to open the new Joe Conklin show. It was sensational. It includes all the impressions, Iverson, Merrill, and Mike Barkley. They brought in this whole musical component with a full orchestra. It's really good. His daughter Casey's part of it. His brother's part of it. They can rock it, boy. So you got all the music, plus you got all the comedy. It's a great night.
That's Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Wildwood Catholic High School on June 29th and the Ocean City Music Pier on July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! Hi, this is Dom Giordano inviting you to join me in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar this Friday, June 21st, to celebrate Dom Giordano Day in Wildwood. We have an action-packed day planned, national guest of honor Scott Presler joining us, lots of local guests, and of course, entertainment by Burning Sky, the ultimate Bad Company tribute band. It'll be a great day in Wildwood. Blow off work Friday. Join me at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood starting at noon. Mulligan's at 310 West Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood. Details at 1210WPHT.com.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
So in the headlines, and certainly dominating the headlines in New York City, talking about those vigilantes, talking about the issue and that rape suspect of a 13-year-old little girl at the hands, allegedly, by an illegal guy crossing the border illegally and then raping her, assaulting both the girl as well as a 13-year-old boy in a park during broad daylight. So that one there's a court appearance this morning as that guy is behind bars. But I'm talking about the case that Trump was referring to in just to wrap this up, to think about this. I know that Rachel Morin's family, her brother, her mom, they have been, really diligent setting up GoFundMes as far as for reward money, because they were pained by this, to think, who did this? And why didn't we hear more about this? Kudos to the law enforcement and the detectives who had this guy on a most wanted list, and they had his mugshot. But the question is, when you think about this guy traveling the country, we know that he left in early last year, in early 2023, and within a month of coming across the border illegally, within a month, according to authorities, he is a suspect in a case of assaulting a 9-year-old little girl and her mom on the West Coast, right? So you're telling me, oh yeah, well those are the only victims. Those are the only victims, Dawn. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. This is somebody who is considered armed, dangerous in a gang in his home country, comes here, and that we know of, according to the DNA evidence, according to the authorities, he's only assaulted, 3 individuals. No way. This guy, and that's what law enforcement is getting at. And that's why the sheriff's department, that's why law enforcement, anybody certainly who worked directly on this case, because I don't know if you have ever been near a murder scene. Maybe you're in law enforcement. For me, in my career as a news reporter, I've covered at least 1,000 murder cases, at least. And I can tell you when you are on that scene, and I've only been on the other side of that yellow crime tape, right? So I don't know what it's like to be that individual in homicide, and you're on the inside of the yellow tape. And you are on that murder scene and meticulously, of course, gathering all of the evidence you can in hopes of catching that killer before that killer strikes again. But covering so many murders and being in the living room of a grieving parent, a grieving child, saying, here's the picture of my loved one, here she is, and sobbing and their grief, and knowing that their life will never be the same. And so that one violent criminal is not taking that one victim who you'll now hold the funeral for. But think about her 5 children. They don't get over this. Think about her mom, her brother, her family, her extended community. Do you see what I'm saying? There are many more victims of this crime. That one criminal, and we know this, impacts an entire community, an entire family, and scars their entire life, changes, if you will, changes the projection of their lives. So this is what Joe Biden has done to all of us. We are all impacted by the violence and the hell that's being unleashed on every single one of us in our communities. That's what's happening here. And I know you're going to say to me, Dawn, come on, Joe Biden, he's a good guy, right? We all know him. We feel like we know him, whether you've interviewed him or met him before, or maybe you support Joe Biden. And I would have said that a while ago, but I will say this to you. I just think that some of these individuals, these career politicians, they'll do anything to get reelected. And that's what this is all about. We in our communities, Rachel Morin, that 9-year-old little girl, the 13-year-old in New York, sorry, you're just collateral damage. Collateral damage in a career politician's path because he just wants to get reelected. It's about power. It's about money. It's about control. It's not about keeping you safe or your family. It's not about peace and prosperity. For me, there's only one choice in this next election. There's only one choice, and that is the peace and prosperity president, Donald J. Trump. That's who I see. That's the path. If you want more of this, you want more of this lawlessness, see, I'm not looking at somebody whose silly tweets that mean nothing to my life because sticks and stones, words are not going to break my bones or break my bank or literally get me assaulted. I'm looking at actions. I'm looking at policy. I'm looking at the one whose proven record shows me that one individual is for peace and prosperity. The other one could care less. It's all about lawlessness, weaponization of government. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Weather sponsored by Holland Floor Covering.
A heat advisory remains in effect. We'll have a mixture of sunshine and clouds today with a high temperature up around 92. And then for tonight, a muggy night, mostly clear with a low near 70. And another hot and humid day on Thursday, mostly sunny with a high 92.
Weather sponsored by Holland Floor Covering, the region's premier flooring dealer. Family owned and operated for over 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. Visit their 2 showrooms in Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more at hollandfloor.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Favor to ask of you, please don't give up your summer vacation, all right? The kids, the memories that'll last forever. And I know times are tough, but the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey makes getting away affordable and possible. Book a June or July midweek stay, and you're going to receive resort credits that you can use on site. That's right, they're going to give you money to use on site in the form of resort credits. And they have the big outdoor heated pool, the heated indoor pool if the weather's bad at the beach. The longer you stay, the more you get back in resort credits. They offer guest rooms, suites, and townhomes equipped with a kitchenette, so it's like renting a short home but with all the conveniences of a full-service resort, except you don't have to worry about doing the sheets and the towels. You get the amenities of a resort, but you also get the kitchenette, the fridge. Book direct with them for the best rates and to get your resort credits. 800-257-8550 or visit them online at grandhotelcapemay.com. This offer is good until July 18th, so act today, grandhotelcapemay.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices, plus an additional $1,000 Costco discount on all new Cherry Hill Volvos. When leasing or purchasing a new or certified Cherry Hill Volvo, you become a valued part of our team. Join Cherry Hill Volvo for the pricing and attention you deserve. I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics. 215-999-3000.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Say cheese. Coca-Cola Photo Day is back on Saturday, July 13th before the Phillies host Oakland at 4:05. Don't miss out on your chance to snap photos of your favorite Phils. Get tickets now at Phillies.com. 2 of the NL's best will battle it out when the Dodgers visit CBP on Tuesday, July 9th at 6:40, Wednesday, July 10th at 7:05, and Thursday, July 11th at 6:05. Order tickets now at Phillies.com.
Summer's here, and it's time to tackle that to-do list. With an American Heritage Cash Reward MasterCard, get up to 3% cash back at home improvement stores, groceries, and pharmacies. And when the chores are done, treat yourself to a well-deserved vacation, earning 2% cash back on travel, hotels, and rideshares, and 1% on everything else you buy. Apply today at AmericanHeritageCU.org/credit-cards. Subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
We'll talk about the new gun safety measures taking effect in our region, but I want to just wrap up our last segment, and that is speaking about these illegals coming from other countries where they are wanted, where they are on a most wanted list in their own country, coming here. So listen to the outrage. You can hear it in his voice of the Maryland sheriff that I've been talking about as he held this news conference, and he's describing with such disdain this accused killer who is behind bars.
And as everyone I believe is aware, that was our first DNA match linking Rachel's case to the Los Angeles case. It has been a fear of mine that once we identified this suspect, Rachel was not his first victim. And it's my understanding that this suspect, this monster, fled to the United States illegally after committing the brutal murder of a young woman in El Salvador a month early in January of 2023. Once in our country, and likely emboldened by his anonymity, he brutally attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother during a home invasion in March of 2023 in Los Angeles. And as everyone I believe is aware, that was our first DNA match linking Rachel's case to the Los Angeles case. It has been a fear of mine that once we identified this suspect, the result would be exactly this. And I want to now direct these comments to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and to every member in both chambers of Congress. We are 1,800 miles away here in Harford County. We are 1,800 miles away from the southern border, and the American citizens are not safe because of failed immigration policies. This is the second time in just 2 years that an innocent Harford County woman has lost her life to a criminal in our country illegally. Let me repeat that. 1,800 miles from the southern border, and this is the second woman in our county to be killed by an illegal alien. Suspects, in both cases, they are suspects from El Salvador with ties to criminal gangs. Should not be happening. Victor Hernandez did not come here to make a better life for himself or for his family. He came here to escape the crime he committed in El Salvador. He came here and murdered Rachel, and God willing, no one else.
God willing.
But that should have never been allowed to happen.
Amen. So he's calling out President Biden. Good for you. Good for you. And this is somebody in law enforcement who was at that murder scene. Think about that. And think about how long they've been tracking and trying to catch this individual and how infuriated you would be. So we thank those in law enforcement who work to keep us safe. Your thoughts on this, 855-839-1210. What would you do to close up the border? And the border is right here, and that's the point he's making. 1,800 miles from the border, but there's no such thing anymore as a so-called border town because these individuals are quite handily able to travel the country, West Coast, East Coast, middle of the country, 855-839-1210. Judy in the Northeast has some ideas. Hey, Judy.
Yes, I've been listening, and you mentioned a lot of things that's very disturbing. Of course, my heart goes out to the family that lost their loved one.
Yeah.
But I will begin with this dysfunctional Congress. This is where laws are made, and it's not entirely always on the president. But he is the person, people look at his background. As of now, Biden doesn't have notorious infamous deeds. If I was president, when you go see Trump tomorrow, you tell him I would go back to the old laws as far as letting immigrants and whoever come into this country, which I don't know what happened to that, and I would send Trump back to Germany. I would get rid of all the Supreme Courts that are stacked working for Trump. I would get rid of all of them, and I would also make sure that people are getting what are listening to. This is where the Congress is. People can go there to debate. We can have debates watching television. In the future, maybe we can log in and vote like that. Maybe something like that, because this dysfunctional Congress is not doing anything for the people. And I just don't. And I would, people are upset about the border in Gaza. Yeah, they have a right to, but at least when you can talk to Biden is not asking to be want to be dictator. He's not having a bromance with all these other dictators, and it's very upsetting for you to keep talking about people, this family's loved one that died. We had children that have been massacred with guns.
It's a legitimate news story, Judy. This is my show. I'm Dawn. Will you mute Judy for just a moment? I had to mute you because I started talking. I listened to you and I let you say your piece, Judy. But in truth, I'm reporting it because this is a news story today. Some of these accused suspects and accused assailants are being processed right now, are being charged with first-degree rape, first-degree murder, etc. It's a legitimate news story and news item. As far as the line, two things.
You keep talking about their loved one in such horrible way. What about Nancy Pelosi husband bashed in the head with a hammer?
I said that was horrible. I said that was horrible from day one. I said that was horrible from day one. If you heard me, and there were people making fun of that on various shows, I was not one of them. That was a horrifying crime, clearly by a crazy person. Thank God he survived
we have
it.
a lot of crazy people, and they come in all races. And I don't approve of them coming in by the thousands at the border. This is wrong. Go back to the old laws. But I do not believe in Trump. I don't trust him, and he's mocked people with disabilities and calling ugly names. That's so disgusting. You know, I have a special needs nephew, and he's supposed to be the president of the entire nation, but his nefarious deeds doesn't win me over. Okay.
Okay.
You tell him tomorrow. Go back to
Saturday.
Go back to Germany. Excuse me.
Saturday is the Trump rally.
You tell him to go back to Germany where he can mix in with the Nazis like his father was as a Nazi supporter and a KKK. Okay?
Judy, here's the thing. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you, Judy. I do appreciate you. And I believe in the conversation, and I respect each and every one of. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I can share my personal insights. I can say what I believe, but I let Judy talk. Most people wouldn't have put Judy on the air, as you well know. The thing that bothers me, number one, is all of these talking points. I will remind you, and let me just say this to you. When people were making fun of, on conservative talk radio, of Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, when he answered the door, that was horrifying to me. And I would cut my mic if anybody here was making fun of it. I never made fun of it, ever. You can go back and listen to the broadcast or watch the broadcast. I never did that. I don't do that. When people on this station made fun of John Fetterman, Senator John Fetterman, who's now, more popular, I guess, with conservatives or moderates, whatever, and they were making fun of the lump on his head or the fact that he had a stroke, I never made fun of him. That's not my thing. Okay, I don't get into that. And in fact, I would argue that this is not a personality contest. It's not about somebody's personality. That's not what this is to me. And you won't hear me say those things. I never do that. As far as the dictator comment, that is something that is portrayed about Trump. It was a comment that was a joke that Sean Hannity on Fox, I believe, and we could find that clip, where Sean Hannity is sarcastically saying to him something about you'd be a dictator. This was a sarcastic, they were joking around. It was not a serious comment. And people took that and said, oh, see, he says he's going to be a dictator. It's absurd. It was clearly sarcastic. And this from, people who at the same point with a straight face will say, well, there's a deep fake or a deep whatever they want to call it with regard to, the other side. I don't get into any of that nonsense. You know me. I don't. When did you hear me really talking about whether or not Barack Obama recently took Joe Biden by the hand or whatever? Judge for yourself. Look at the video yourself. You can judge for yourself and vote accordingly. I don't think that is what bothers me about Joe Biden, quite frankly. Some people have a senior moment. Okay, whatever. For people to focus on that stuff is not what we should focus on. Focus on the policy of the individual. Focus on, look up the numbers for yourself. You don't have to trust me. And so that's why I take the phone calls with somebody like Judy. And saying, by the way, send Trump back to wherever his ancestors were from. Well, okay, I guess if we started doing that would be a slippery slope, because most of us in this country would then be shipped back to wherever our ancestors were from, right? But to say that he's a Nazi, if you think, I'll say this to you, Judy, if you think that, then I think all of you who think that should file a class action lawsuit against NBC News, because NBC News, and I can tell you from my news background, NBC News vets people, especially news people or people who they're going to put on a show. Trump's show was the number one show. They promoted it. It was the show that reigned for some 17 years on NBC, on that network. And they made him that sensation. They put him in your living room. So if you really believe that this gentleman, who, by the way, his grandchildren are Jewish, Ivanka is Jewish, right? His son-in-law Jewish, first Jewish family to live in the White House, and so on and so forth. So, but if you really think that, and you think, oh, this is some Nazi sympathizer, then you ought to get together and file a biggity big lawsuit against NBC News for promoting a Nazi sympathizer. You won't do it because you know in your heart it's a joke and it's not true. And nobody said all of these things back when he was on NBC for 17 years. Nobody said it. Nobody thought it. And it just doesn't ring true. So I will say to Judy and anybody listening, and I'm being serious and I'm being respectful, do your own research and just put that in there. Look at the clip where some people are claiming that somebody's a dictator. Just as I will not make fun of Joe Biden for a senior you won't see me do it. First of all, it's low-hanging fruit. It's cheap and it's easy, okay? But it's really about the policy. That's what I look at. I'm not looking at somebody having a senior moment or whatever. That's not what it's about. I'm not looking at somebody having a sarcastic moment on a show with an old friend. I'm not looking at sarcasm. I'm looking at their policy as the President of the United States of America. That's it. Bottom line. 855-839-1210 is the number to call. I have to take a quick break. Be right back.
It's officially summer, and the Zioli Army is headed to Cape May. Let's storm the beaches of Cape May at the Grand Hotel. Join me for our live show Friday, June 21st. Can't wait to see you there. My happy place, the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. And we're going to have a very special surprise guest hanging out with us as well. So make it a priority. Put it on your calendar today. Friday, June 21st, 3 to 7 p.m. live at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. GrandHotelCapeMay.com.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS has raised the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes in recent years. This hits hard if you're behind on your taxes. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. If you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Smokey the Bear. After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
There's only one place to get that perfect custom gift for your special someone. Cozy Jewelers' family-owned and operated showroom in Newtown Square. See their 5 C's in person. That's color, cut, clarity, carat, and of course, the cozy touch. If you have something unique in mind, Cozy will help you customize your piece with all work done in-house, so you always walk away with that unparalleled cozy quality. For your custom jewelry, stop by Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square or online at cozyjewelers.com and step up to the 5th C.
2 legends, 1 can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar are available in a can. Is there any better time than summer grilling season for a cold Jack and Coke? Jack and Coke in a can, born for the backyard. Available at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store. Go to finewineandgoodspirits.com. Please drink responsibly.
Whiskey Specialty, 7% ABV. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Do you know your numbers? What numbers? Your heart health numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, and your body mass index. They're important, so ask your doctor. Learn your numbers, and if something doesn't seem right with them, see a Deborah specialist at one of our offices throughout South Jersey. After all, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. Find a specialist near you at demanddeborah.org.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Headlines this morning: Pennsylvania schools, it's the law, will be required to hold a moment of silence on the anniversary of the terror attacks that struck the United States of America September 11th, 2001. And they will have the option to teach students more about that day that obviously shaped American life and politics and beyond. But I think that's a good thing, that Pennsylvania schools will have that moment of silence every September 11th. I think that's a good thing. My kids did in Catholic school, I will tell you, and it didn't even occur to me that we didn't do that, because I think we certainly should. 855-839-1210. A lot of you responding to what we're talking about this morning. I'll get to Stephanie first in Delaware. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Thanks. I just heard Judy, and I wanted to just respond to it.
Stephanie, I apologize. We have horrible service. Jimmy Kelly always says this. Why is it that people who are so supportive and so nice, they have the worst service?
Yeah, they always got the worst service when you punch them up right now. It's all this...
Satan.
And then all the psycho callers. I just want to make it very clear that the psychos are all clear, but the norm. Let's see if we can get her back.
Okay. Hey, Stephanie, we had a bad connection. Well, let's take Greg. Greg in Jersey. Hey, Greg.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was calling because you were asking about possible ways to help secure the border, and if I believe there is a bipartisan bill that was in the Senate to increase the number of border agents, number of immigration judges, and to release the fentanyl machines which can detect fentanyl coming across the border. Unfortunately, Mitch McConnell or Mike Johnson have chosen to vote against those things, and on the behest of Donald Trump who wants to use this as an issue. And I called both Mike Johnson and I called Mitch McConnell. I said, I agree with you. We need to do something. I don't want any more people dying because of criminals crossing the border. But you guys are sitting on this bill and doing nothing. These lives are now on you. And I'm glad to hear the sheriff in Maryland also say that he contacted the members of Congress as well.
Yeah, it's important. I know we should probably have Brian Fitzpatrick on. He's talked a lot about this. And and you bring up the best point anybody could, Greg, and that is that we've seen on both sides of the aisle for how long, because of partisan politics, they sit on things, and you are right. You are correct. During the first 2 years of the Obama administration, Obama has been criticized and Biden, his Veep, for those first 2 years because they had the White House, they had the Senate, they had the House. They could have passed all of this. They didn't. But right now, you're right. They have enough bipartisan support on these issues. And so I will say this, I don't have the confirmation. People are reporting that Trump reportedly said he didn't want it. I personally cannot vouch for that. I don't have the soundbite or the written statement. And Mitch McConnell, we know, and Trump have butted heads. So I don't know that that's purely the reason. But I think you bring up the best point, and that is that career politicians, the so-called swamp, on both sides of the aisle have failed to serve us, we the people. And that's a very important point that I often will say we're getting played. These career politicians, by the way, they give themselves raises. They make so much money. They get so much time off and so many benefits. Give cops and teachers that salary. Those who are lawmakers, I'm sorry, have you make the beginning $50,000 a year. They get rich enough off the job. Greg, I thank you. It's a great, well-educated point that Greg makes, and I do appreciate you. I'm up against it. Stephanie, we've got Stephanie back, and I wanted to give you the final word.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I don't know how much time I have, but what I wanted to point out is that, I don't know if you're familiar with the walkaway movement, but the walkaway movement was started by Brandon Strzok, who was a staunch Democrat in 2016 and cried when Trump won. But he was open to a relative sharing with him that actual video where supposedly Trump made fun of that reporter who was a special needs person. And when Brandon saw that in context, it opened his eyes to how many ways that we're not really getting
all the information.
Brandon walked away, and he started the walkaway movement, which has grown to well over 500,000 Democrats who have chosen to walk away. So I would encourage Judy to go out there and look for that video in context. Look at the walkaway movement, because there are many people who walked away when they realized that they were not being, given the full context and the truth.
Yeah, it's true. Stephanie,
it's so important to let that go.
Yes. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for bringing up the walkaway campaign. You're exactly right. 855-839-1210. The Dom Show continues around the corner. I'm up against it. So we have to continue the conversation. And there's a lot I want to clarify on all those recent callers. I'm just running out of time. Have a good one.
Diabetes, high blood